On New Year's Eve, a driver caused this shocking accident by driving a rented Tesla Model 3 while under the influence. The driver entered an intersection at high speed and lost control before taking down a traffic sign, a fence, and a shed, finally crashing into a parked excavator. The driver and 3 passengers were mildly injured, but everyone survived the crash. The car was totaled and the property damage exceeded $100,000. It's estimated that the Tesla had been traveling at over 90 miles per hour at the moment of the initial impact. The Tesla's safety systems, along with its strong frame and body, significantly protected the occupants from sustaining any serious injuries. We've got 19 more Teslacam stories lined up for you in this episode, so hold on tight. Before we roll the next clip, we want to announce a new goal we have for 2023. We're aiming to raise $100,000 for the nonprofit organization Mothers Against Drunk Driving, or MAD. They're working to bring an end to drunk driving while caring for the victims of this 100% preventable crime. If you enjoy our videos and want to support our content, we would be forever grateful if you'd consider helping us out by donating. Just click on the donation button for the fundraising campaign shown next to this video. Donate to stop drunk driving and save a life today. Sam was driving his Model Y in Los Angeles, California. He was approaching an intersection when the driver of a large truck pulling 2 dump trailers tried to stop for the light that was turning red. The 2 trailers continued to move forward, hitting a black pickup truck immediately to the right. Thankfully, the pickup managed to escape from being crushed, so nobody was hurt in the incident, other than the truck driver's ego, that is. Dan was driving down a dark stretch of Highway 34, returning home from a road trip to Kansas City. He noticed some hay flying around on the road right before a Ford driver in front of his Model Y drove into some hay bales that had fallen onto the highway. The Ford Fusion took one for the team and ended up with both front and rear bumper covers severely damaged. The Tesla emerged with only a scratched-up front bumper cover. Most of the scratches on the Model Y's bumper cover could be buffed out, so Dan didn't file any insurance claim. He did, however, share this Teslacam footage with the Ford owner for their insurance claim. I bet you're wondering, how does something like that even happen? Well, we've got the answer for you. Roll the next clip. While Ian was passing a truck pulling a trailer full of hay bales, 2 fell off the left side of the trailer. Ian slammed on his brakes, but he ended up hitting the bales anyway. Well, there you have it. Mystery solved. Dr. Earl was driving his Model 3 in McDonough, Georgia. The road was extremely icy, so he accelerated carefully as he pulled away from a stop sign. Apparently, the driver behind him didn't like this and decided to pass him on a blind corner in a no-passing zone, and did we mention the road was extremely icy? After passing Earl, the other vehicle started to slide while merging back over. It soon lost control and slammed into a white pickup truck. Earl stopped and assisted both drivers and called 911. With one officer sitting in his passenger seat and the other looking through the driver's window, the police viewed Earl's Teslacam footage on the scene. One of the officers had heard of collisions being filmed by Teslacam, but he never thought he'd actually see one. According to Earl, he spent the next half hour talking about how amazing it was and how the footage made it extremely clear who was at fault. The driver of the black car was taken to the hospital by ambulance, while the driver of the white truck declined medical treatment. Justin was heading to his girlfriend's house to have dinner with her family. He was stopped in a line of traffic that went in front of the exit of a Walmart parking lot. Justin says he tried to leave space so other drivers leaving the lot could squeeze through. A couple of cars made it through the gap, but unfortunately, a second red car didn't emerge unscathed. As the driver tried to squeeze through the gap on his left, they were struck by a pickup truck after the light turned green. Justin honked his horn in an attempt to warn the pickup driver, but it was too late. Justin threw on his hazard lights and offered the driver of the red car a copy of his footage. Justin's night of Teslacam taping didn't end there. While he was heading back home from dinner that same night, a pedestrian decided to walk into traffic and block his lane. Justin doesn't know why they stepped into heavy traffic, but he told us they were glued to their phone the entire time. He honked and flashed his high beams in an attempt to get their attention, but they just stood there, staring and talking to their phone. He flashed his high beams again, but after drivers behind him started honking, he decided to try and squeeze by him. Shay was driving on the Verrazano Narrows Bridge in New York City with his brand new Tesla. We posted a video of the crash that totaled his first Tesla in Teslacam Stories episode 176. This time, he was driving behind a BMW when its hood suddenly flew open. It threw debris all over his car, but luckily no damage was done. Tommy was driving in Norway when he encountered Spiderman out jogging in a blizzard. Tommy apologizes for the short clip, but he accidentally honked the horn twice in excitement. He told us this guy is actually a real hero. Apparently, he does great things to help out the community, all while remaining anonymous behind his Spiderman mask. We had to look this up, and it's true. Meet your friendly Norway neighborhood Spiderman. Steven was driving his Model Y in Groveport, Ohio. When he approached an intersection, he witnessed a car accident in the snow. He stayed at the scene until the police arrived, and he was able to show them what had happened. Unfortunately, the footage cuts out at the exact moment when the impact occurs, but he thinks the police were still able to figure out who was at fault. Who do you think was responsible? Let us know in a comment. Mortiz was just about to leave a supercharger in Germany when he noticed an SUV waiting near the entrance. The driver of the SUV was eyeing the Teslas. Mortiz figured he was either really interested in Teslas or he was waiting to roll coal on someone. I'm gonna give you a moment to place your bets. Do you think the SUV driver was A, a Tesla fan, or B, a diesel fan? Okay, here we go. Mortiz approached the exit of the supercharger and boom! He was enveloped by a cloud of dinosaur soot. We'll just let the video keep rolling because he actually got coal rolled 3 times. We've gotta say, it seems like Germany's coal rollers are even worse than America's. I wonder if this is because German car makers aren't very happy with the shift to a new technology that is being dominated by an American company. Drew always tries to park as far away from other cars as possible to avoid any damage from parking lot craziness. When he went into the grocery store to grab a few things one night, such precautions didn't dissuade the cart demon. A careless customer left their cart on the sidewalk instead of returning it to the corral just a few feet away. Then not 1, not 2, but 3 grocery store employees walked past the abandoned cart. One even walked by as the cart was already speeding toward Drew's Model 3 Performance. The wind helped it pick up quite a bit of speed before it smacked into the left quarter panel, setting off the alarm. In the end, it left both a dent and a nasty scratch. Cody was driving to pick up his son from a weekend coding class. Rain was drizzling lightly, leaving the roads a little wet. As he pulled up to a stoplight, he noticed a pickup approaching from behind rather quickly. Cody made the decision to get out of the way just in case. It seems he made the right decision, because the pickup had to turn hard to stop in time, ending up on the curb. Vixus was out for a nice dinner with friends, but when he returned to his car, he noticed a big dent in the driver's door. Scrubbing through his Sentry Mode events from that night, he found the culprit had been caught on tape. Clearly, she'd noticed what she'd done, but she still left without leaving a note. Unfortunately, he couldn't make out the license plate number, so he had to pay for the damages himself. The repair cost came to $350 US. Matt was working late and decided to get some food at about 2 a.m. While waiting in the drive-thru, he was rear-ended by the driver behind him. Matt got out of the vehicle, but the driver claimed he hadn't hit him and refused to admit it until finally getting out of his vehicle to see the damage.
You gotta back your car up.
Well, I'm gonna make sure I fucking hit you, bro.
You're gonna touch me right now.
Oh my god. I already backed up. Take a picture.
You have insurance?
Of course I have insurance, guys.
All right. Let me pull up a bit.
Even after seeing the damage, he claimed he hadn't caused it and that it must have already been there. It's clear from the rear Teslacam footage that the guy knew he'd hit Matt's Tesla and was just waiting to see if Matt would notice.
Hey, I need to cancel my order. The guy behind me hit my vehicle and I need to take care of that.
Oh, okay.
The driver immediately texted Matt his insurance info, but Matt didn't notice until later that night that his insurance coverage had expired months earlier.
Yeah, there's a little bit of damage. Not much.
Matt says that what makes this incident even crazier is that he thinks the other driver was intoxicated. Matt called 911 to report what had happened and told them his suspicions. The police showed up in minutes and began questioning the other driver. He took and failed a field sobriety test and was placed under arrest before being transported to the Ada County Jail. Matt told us the woman who was with the other driver was given her stuff and told to leave. She wasn't allowed to drive the vehicle since she may have been intoxicated as well. Matt has contacted his insurance provider to see what it will cost to fix the damage and if there's any way to make the other guy pay for it. Please don't drink and drive. Yep, we're already reminding you about our fundraiser. We'll be working on it all year, so get used to it. To get the fundraiser started, we'll donate $1 for each new subscriber this video gets, up to $1,000. We'll let you know in 2 weeks how many new subscribers we got. Joe was driving home from work, approaching an intersection he'd passed through hundreds of times. The road here has 2 left turn lanes. As Joe approached the intersection, he got into the right of the 2 turn lanes and began making the turn with a green light. The driver of the semi-truck in the other lane made an illegal turn into Joe's lane, forcing him to either stop or get hit. Joe let it go without any road rage or honking. He's just glad he escaped unscathed. Unfortunately, that wasn't Joe's only encounter with a semi that day. He was driving with autopilot engaged when a car hauler started passing him. Once the truck driver had begun the overtake, an oncoming car appeared. The truck driver activated his turn signal before merging into Joe's lane. Joe disengaged autopilot and took manual control, braking hard to get out of the path of the truck. This time, Joe didn't let it go. He safely passed the semi, putting it back where it had been before making the dangerous maneuver. Brendan was driving home on a rainy night on I-75. He had the cruise control set below the speed limit and he just disengaged autopilot when the vehicle suddenly began sliding. The Tesla beeped to inform him that it was leaving its lane, but at that point it was too late to get out of the spin. The Tesla spun counterclockwise until the right quarter panel hit the median barrier, then spun clockwise and ramped off the barrier, tearing off the front bumper cover. Brendan made an insurance claim, but the Tesla was deemed a total loss. To replace it, Brendan purchased a 2016 Model S 75D. Reed was waiting to turn left into his neighborhood when an oncoming car turned in front of traffic. The car was struck by another vehicle, but everyone involved was okay. A paramedic who'd happened to witness the accident checked on both drivers, and Reed gave them both a copy of this footage for their insurance claims. As Dustin was headed to go skiing, he encountered a man having issues with his frozen roof rack. The man headed to get some hot water while Dustin left to go skiing. When Dustin finished skiing and came back, he was curious about what had happened to his new parking lot friend. So he checked his Sentry Mode footage. The hot water trick had worked. In fact, the man was so happy he did a little happy dance. And on that positive note, it's time for you to subscribe. Remember, when you do, we'll donate $1 to MAD to help victims of drunk drivers.